Good morning. Welcome back to Elden Ring. Welcome back to another short unplanned stream. Yeah, sorry about that. I just can't really put the game down. I want to continue. I must continue. I hope you're having a great morning, day, evening, wherever you are. Let us get back into Elden Ring. Let us clean up a couple of places that I still need to clean up. So yesterday we ended the stream on fighting Agil the dragon, and overall it was a pretty good fight. He did try and test the limits of the game's engine and interaction with the environment on a large scale, but ultimately we got there, and yeah, it's fun. And we got a dragon's heart, which means that now we can actually, potentially in the future, once I upgrade my arcane level, attribute, my arcane attribute, we can actually use that. Use a dragon's claw. So I wonder, the Church of Dragon Communion has two other things that you can buy, which naturally now makes me think that there are two other dragons that you can defeat. I don't know if it's that simple. I don't know if that's how it works. But yeah, that might be something that'll happen. Okay, so now that the dragon is gone, we can take a look at the rest of the lake. I mean, overall, I think I've seen pretty much like most things here. But I wanted to do another run sort of through the lake, through the middle of the lake, and especially where the dragon spawned in, just to see if we might have missed something. And then I want to go this way and check out the whole river up until the end here. And once we've done that, we can take another look at this part. Although I don't expect there to be too much here. Maybe there's like a dungeon here somewhere. That being said, though, now that I'm standing right next to it, I do wonder if we should take another look and another shot at the Fringe Folk hero's grave. The reason why I didn't continue with it last time was because there's one of those grafted spider things in there. Crab spider, I don't know what you would even call that. The things where they stuck all kinds of limbs on them. And it had a huge HP pool. Yeah, I want to see whether or not I can deal with that better now. I also wanted to know, I mean, the grave was definitely bigger than just that huge room where the thing was in. So we'll see, I guess. But yeah, I kind of wanted to go back here and check that out. I think it's this one, right? Yeah. Because I want to, clean up the stuff that I'm still missing or that I didn't continue with last time. Well, I have the or the heal poison stuff equipped. I just don't know whether or not I actually want to waste my FP on that. Also, well, the interesting part here is, right, that I wasn't able to actually summon anything against that spider thing, so I kind of wonder what the deal is there, to be honest. Could also poison it. The problem and why I didn't continue with that was that not only did it have a huge HP pool, but it was really, really annoying to go back to, right, because you have to go through this whole shebang with, well, the poison here isn't really the issue, but you have to get past this weird carriage thing that is running all over the place here. Although one thing that I do wonder is whether or not maybe we'd be able to stop it somehow. Considering that the other... why are these equipped, by the way? Considering that the other nope, it's just not doing anything. Most of the other traps stop when you shoot at them, right? So I was wondering if that works here as well. The weird part is also that it actually reacts to where you are, right? So once you go further down this whole thing, it'll follow you, essentially. So I am kind of wondering whether or not I'm missing something here. And then we have these guys here too. God, I hate getting stuck on the wall when I'm attacking something. I just wonder... So the thing is, right, that this carriage thing is going to follow you. And then there is this section over there where essentially you can't really go. Because not only is it going to follow you, it is also, like, there's no way to escape it on that particular path, right? So there has to be a way to get there. And the thing that I did last time was I dropped down to the left of it. There is a way to drop down there and follow that path. So maybe you have to do that in order to then ultimately deactivate it from somewhere. But I am wondering whether or not I may be missing something somewhere. Because there's also, as you can see up there, right? Top right now, there's also an item and something that we potentially might have missed. So I'm wondering whether or not there's something there that I might have missed. Okay. That guy's hopefully getting run over by the carriage again. So, I mean, maybe since it's still... I wonder. If I wait for it to... because now it hasn't changed directions, right? As soon as I'm turning the bend here, it'll change and drive down here. But now I'm wondering if I there he goes. If I would wait for it to go back up, then drop down here, because I think I can make that drop, and then just run for it. I don't know. Would I be able to make it? I mean, that thing is really fast, right? That's sort of the thing. If you look at how long it takes, it's about, I don't know, maybe 8 seconds or something for it to go back up. I really don't know if that would be enough time. I mean, ultimately, I could just test it, right? The problem is, the whole thing also then turns around again, right? So, even though I might be able to make it down there, I am wondering whether or not I'd be run over anyway. I mean, if I don't test it right, like, I will never find out. Is that an enemy? It is, yeah. That's also weird. That's why I'm wondering whether or not... Okay, where is it? It's running down. Right. Okay. Okay. So now it has to drive all the way up and then all the way down. This whole thing definitely continues here. Hello. So now it comes here, right? Whoa! Shit, I didn't expect him to take quite that much stamina. Now it will just turn here, probably. Yeah. And then it goes how far exactly? Fairly far. The problem is I don't see another safe spot. Right? Looks like this is the last one, to be honest. Oh, there is one. Thank you. Well, that's quite fun. Honestly, I hope we can turn this thing off, though. I do want to explore the rest of this thing. Or the rest of this entire cave system. Grave. Okay, there is a path to the right there. I do very much like these multiple approaches, right? And the differences that you can get here and whatever. Oh, hello. Wait, what? I did not expect this. Well, that's unfortunate. Shit. I don't want to fight a boss here. I mean, well, maybe we'd be able to defeat it. I don't know. Am I missing something here? Praise the arms. Oh yeah, the statue still has its arms. I'm still struggling to understand what the significance is here. Wait, did the... What? Why is it gone? What? Did it drive back to all the way to the top, or why is it not here anymore? Huh? Did I do something? Like accidentally? Or do you just have to go in here in order to... Try stomach? When? I think maybe going in here or going close just deactivates the carriage? That is very strange though, right? And yeah, I mean the arms could just be... well, we don't really know why statues are losing arms in general, right? That's a thing not only with these particular statues of Marika, but with pretty much everything. Though I do suspect that whoever does that, right, whoever cuts those arms off of the statues, possibly hasn't really reached all of them, right? And considering how fairly difficult it is to get down here, you could speculate that it's probably, people just haven't been here, and so the statue still has its arms. I'm really confused, however, why the carriage suddenly stopped coming down here. Ah, there it is. Okay, so it just nopes off, or what does it do? So I think since, like, I'm not really part of the... What's this weird sound anyways? I think it just goes wherever it sees somebody, right? So now it comes back down here because I, like, went on its track or something. I mean, I could just go back up. I have a feeling there is either another side of grace somewhere down here. It's not too difficult to get here. It just takes a bit of time, so... Do I just want to try it? I mean, this could be a very difficult boss. Then again, I don't really have anything to lose, right? Let's just try it. What the fuck are you? Ah, of course. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so that's another one of those weird worm things. Okay. Oh, right, yeah, I can just revive here. Completely forgot about that. Oh, that was weird. Did you see that? The fog actually took a little bit of time to materialize. Man. Also, wait, the runes spawned in front of the boss room? Interesting. So, I don't think this boss is particularly difficult to defeat. It's just going to be very, very annoying. Because it's the same thing that is down in Stormwell Castle. And it's just flailing all over the place, right? The biggest problem that I have with it is that it literally doesn't allow you to summon things in. And also the way that it works, or the reason, or the way it constantly flails around, I think it'll fairly quickly deal with my summons, right? I mean, once again, I don't really have anything to lose here. I just wish that it wouldn't attack right away. Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't know why I messed up that timing. It also kind of has an insane amount of HP. Oh, what? Seriously? As if this wasn't weird enough already. Holy shit, that almost one-shot me. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, the boss's design in general isn't necessarily the problem here. The problem that I have with it is that it's too big for the room that it's in. Right? Making it just awkward to fight. Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, what is the deal supposed to be here, right? I think I rolled out of that. Of course, it's also exploding. Oh. Why? Why? This is so unnecessary. Seriously. Put a boss here that is actually fun to fight. This is just... It pretty much boils down to, okay, awkwardly and randomly roll until you get the timings right, and then just hope that it doesn't do some weird bullshit that defeats you. Also, I'm definitely underleveled for this. I would say, well, I'm doing decent damage. And I mean, maybe I could try, since it's a tree spirit, maybe I could try fire. The fire grease, I mean. It is just, like, unnecessarily awkward. And I felt the same thing with the weird worm storming the castle. The problem isn't necessarily even that it's such a big enemy. It's the way it's flailing around doesn't make any sense, right? It's literally almost like it's about half as big as the entire room, right? And with all of its flailing attacks, it's constantly clipping into the wall. And like, why? They could have made the same thing. Either make it smaller or make it move less or something, right? I mean, just because it's moving less doesn't mean the fight has to be easier. They could have done something, I don't know, where it actually has interesting attacks. Like, right now it's just like flailing all over the place, right? And I wouldn't necessarily consider that to be an quote-unquote interesting attack. What a weird thing. Why do they insist on placing these bosses in places that are just way too awkward for them? Yeah, I mean, I could just try the fire grease, right? Oh, for fuck's sake. I wonder how effective that'll be. Technically, it should be fairly effective. The problem, yeah, and then because it's literally as big as the room, summoning something doesn't really help all that much. I mean, maybe initially it's a bit of damage, but I think ultimately it doesn't really help. These things are gonna die too quickly, even though they have, I think, fire as one of their attack things. I mean, let's just try them, I guess. I could just try a couple of things here. Also, yeah, maybe I should just try throwing fire instead of using the fire grease right away. Also, why did my runes... Oh, see? Look at this! Who comes up with... like... This is just bad game design. Who comes up with that stuff? They give you the option to summon, so you should be able to summon, right? But the problem is the summoning takes so long that the boss already readies one of his attacks, and then I just got stuck between the wall and my summon. I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, you know, just don't summon immediately. But, like, why? That is just... Why make it so awkward? Just have the boss chill for like 5 seconds and everything would be fine. I mean, it still wouldn't be fine because it's clipping into the walls and stuff, but... Oh. Well, at the end of the day, the biggest problem here is that it's just not fun. Right? There is no fun in fighting this boss. There is nothing to figure out. It's just, you know... Of course you can learn its patterns, right? You can learn its like attack animations and timings, and sure, you'll be able to defeat it. Is it going to be fun? No. Even if you can deal with it very easily, even if my damage was twice the amount and whatever, it still wouldn't be fun. Of course. Okay. Well, fire is definitely effective. Just that the boss is still bullshit, obviously. What was that? How was I able to, or how was I supposed to anticipate that? Well, now everyone's dead. Is it stuck? Well, to be honest, if this is how I kill it, then let this be how I kill it. So his HP pool is what? Of course. Oh, it got... okay. Wait, it's literally bugged. Okay. Banished old Oleg and a golden seed. 15,000 runes? What the fuck? Well, I mean... now this feels cheap. I wasn't going to, like... what was I supposed to do there, right? Die on purpose? I mean, I could have. It's just... I wonder what happened there. But... I mean, this kind of tells you already what the problem is, right? I think the boss has trouble pathing in this room. Or something. I wonder what happened there, to be honest. Because I think it happened after he defeated my my spirits. So I have a feeling that, for whatever reason, the AI was not, like, able to find a new target. So even though I was in the room, the AI just, you know, defeated my spirit summons, and then it was, like... confused. It didn't have another target, right? And so it just stood there. I was just really confused because I couldn't really make out why that would happen. Maybe, and that's the thing, right? And that's the problem with these boss designs. I mean, look at this room, and then remember how big the boss was. So, well, I was a little bit off. I would say that the boss is about a third of this room. Obviously, it's a bit smaller because it's like a worm form, but, you know, if you think of the boss as some sort of rectangle quarter thing, you know, like a block instead of an actual worm, it would fill about, yeah, 1/3 of the room. And maybe, you know, maybe it's sort of AI. I don't know, well... obviously, I have no idea how this game works in particular, but maybe his AI got sort of quote-unquote stuck outside of the room, and so maybe it was, maybe it just, you know, maybe it looked for a target outside of the boss room instead of inside it. I don't know if that's possible. But I mean, I got lucky on this one. But it's just... you know, it's fine that I got lucky in this case, but what the fuck was that? Did you see that spirit? Oh, that was probably the spirit getting eaten, right? Or captured in its mouth. But yeah, there's definitely... I felt like already that was a problem in Stormwell Castle at the bottom. Because there as well, I felt like the boss was actually bugged to a degree. Because I wasn't quite sure if that was supposed to happen there, and it did not happen here, what happened to the boss in Stormwell, so I suspect that the boss in Stormwell is bugged as well. Because the worm in Stormwell actually completely clips into the wall. Like, not just... you know, this one's actually kind of fine. It doesn't really leave the boss room or anything. It just slightly clips through these walls and stuff, right? Especially when it gets really close to it. So in that regard, you know, the clipping isn't really that much of an issue here. It's just that the boss design in general just isn't really good, right? It's actually pretty bad, I would say. Because ultimately, there really isn't that much to this boss, right? Obviously, it will take time to learn its patterns, but, well, first of all, the problem is to learn its patterns, you have to see what it does. And considering its size and its awkward flailings, you know, you're more likely to struggle with, like, being able to see rather than with the actual timings, right? So once again, you know, it's the wrong thing to challenge a player on, right? And then, well, once you're able to get all its timings, at that point the fight's not going to be that much fun anymore, because it's just roll, get in, get a couple of hits in, roll again, get a couple of hits in, right? It doesn't do any kind of combo attacks really. The only sort of quote unquote cool thing that it has was this ROM like magic attack that came out of the ground that you potentially, I don't know. I don't even know how you avoid that. Probably running out, but I mean, I was stuck between the boss and the wall, so I wouldn't have been able to do that. Maybe you can also just jump over that and iframe it. Might have been a possibility as well. But yeah, the boss design and the fact that it attacks you before you're even really, you know, I don't think that summoning the spirits at another point would have necessarily helped me. Because, well, summoning the spirits just takes a little bit of time, and so, you know, forcing the, I don't know, it's just, I'm sorry to say this is just awful boss design. It is. What is interesting, though, is the potential lore behind it. So it was called, let me actually see. Let me write that down. Hero's Grave Boss. And I still haven't explored the rest of the grave, so that's still on the menu, I guess. So it was called un something tree spirit. And it carried a golden seed, which is really interesting because now the fact that it also carried a golden seed, a normal one apparently. Well, what do we make of this boss then? Because just looking at it, you'd say, oh yeah, this is some kind of cursed creature. This is, you know, a tree spirit gone wrong. It's rotting the tree. It's some evil, you know, illness that has befallen the tree roots. That's sort of my first idea, right? My first thought about this. But then thinking about that the people are sacrificing themselves or were sacrificed or whatever to the tree roots, right? If you look at the roots of the tree here, and in this case there are way more roots here than usual, right? Compared to the other smaller boss rooms that we had. You know, maybe summoning these tree spirits was the point of this exercise? I mean, so this was, we can still see one of these altars here with the statues as well. So, you know, this was like a normal chamber at some point, and then the roots grew all over it. It is just, now I'm really confused what these might mean, because there's so many different possibilities. It could be that, well, either the people wanted this, maybe, so it could be that the people wanted to become one with the Earth Tree. That's why they built these catacombs, and that's why they were ultimately, you know, sacrificed or put into the roots of the tree or whatever the corpses were, right? And maybe on accident, they didn't realize that these actions would actually poison the Earth Tree, right? That it would, what's the word here? Well, that it would introduce something into its roots that shouldn't be there, and ultimately would be responsible for creating this abomination that we just fought. That could be a possibility. Maybe it was accidental. Maybe the sacrificing to the Earth Tree is actually tradition, and it usually works that way, but something else came in and poisoned this thing, or maybe it was like, maybe the intentions of the people turned bad, maybe their thoughts turned bad. That could also be a thing. right? So maybe it was some inner thing that the people had, some sort of rot inside them that ultimately spread into the tree roots. Or it might have been an outside thing where somebody was trying to manipulate these sacrifices to the earth tree and therefore brought in some kind of, I don't know, poisonous substance or something that would poison this the roots. So there are all kinds of different possibilities here. There's really, at least at this point, there isn't really any way of us to know what the actual meaning behind this is, because we don't really know anything about traditions of sacrificing oneself to the earth tree or something. We haven't really read anything about that either. We do know that the ashes that we find in these places, they are spirits that weren't able to return to the earth tree. But once again, that does leave a few possibilities, right? Because it could be that they just sort of, quote unquote, got unlucky, that they weren't able to sacrifice themselves quickly enough or whatever. Other people had already sort of satisfied how much the roots can take, essentially. And so these spirits were left to wander. It might also be that, you know, somebody created these weird root things with malcontent, and the spirits that we find are the ones that were able to resist some sort of temptation or poison or whatever. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say. I wish we had more information on that. Okay, so we got a golden seed. That is really interesting, though, because that makes this kind of awkward, right? A golden seed found at the base of an illusory tree. So usually we found these so far at these, like, small glowing trees. And my thought process there was that, you know, we see these golden leaves falling, or golden seeds possibly falling from the earth tree from time to time, right? It even gives you a buff when that happens. And well, it's a tree, right? So naturally you would assume that it's trying to spread its seeds and create new trees. And ultimately, I think that's what the minor earth trees are, right? They're probably offspring from the actual earth tree. And, well, I suspect that the sort of maybe original intent here was, or how it's supposed to work, is that if something should happen to the actual earth tree, or if it dies after, I don't know, a couple of millennia or whatever, then one of the other minor earth trees sort of takes over its tasks, so to speak, right? And it becomes the new major earth tree. And in order to have multiple minor earth trees sort of as backup, obviously, I mean, that's how real trees work, right? Real trees, their fruits or seeds or whatever, they fall to the ground, and then there are animals or bacteria or whatever, right, that deal with those, and you know, they spread their seeds all over the place so that ultimately at some point one of them will take hold and create another tree, right? That's how nature works, that's how plants work. And I suspect that, you know, the golden seeds are sort of the earth tree's way of doing that. So the glowing small trees that we see, I think, are very, very early forms of what ultimately could become, you know, if it stands the test of time, of what could become new minor earth trees, and then ultimately, at the end of time, a new major earth tree or whatever. Or if we now assume that that is true, what does it mean that this weird poisoned tree spirit had one of these? And had a normal one, not like a rotted one or something else, I don't know. Did it just eat it? I mean, maybe, yeah, it was called a something tree spirit, Undel something. Um, so maybe these tree spirits originally were meant to protect the roots, and somehow this one got poisoned, or shit. Negatively influenced in some way, right? I forgot the other word that I wanted to call it. But yeah, this tree spirit, clearly something bad happened to it. And maybe the tree spirits originally were meant to carry these golden seeds further or something. So maybe it just had it all along and just kept it even though it turned bad, right? What is interesting to me, though, is that it literally gave me 15,000 runes. Which is kind of crazy, considering that I think Margit gave us, like, what, 4,500 or something? So it's more than triple the amount. No, wait. Didn't Margit give us 9,000? I might have misremembered that, but it's definitely less than 15,000. And also, for example, Agil, the dragon that we fought yesterday, I think he gave us about 4,000, right? As well? Something like that. It definitely wasn't that much. And yeah, this boss definitely had... Well, technically, I would say it had too much HP for me at my current level. I think that it was definitely... You're meant to do this a bit later on, I feel like. Although the fire was definitely effective, but not effective enough for its HP pool. So I do think that I was somewhat underleveled for this. You're probably meant to do this later on, which I find really interesting, right? That you're putting a place right next to a tutorial area, essentially, that is fairly easily unlocked, since you can get those stoneward keys somewhat easily as well, but ultimately is pretty hard to deal with. I mean, from a basic concept, that's kind of cool, but it is somewhat awkward as well, right? It's kind of also... The weird thing here is, I mean, yes, there is that giant carriage, but other than that, those normal, like, spirit enemies that I found, those were, like, easy to deal with. They weren't any stronger than any other quote-unquote normal enemy that I've seen so far. I love these spirits getting flung around the room while they're eaten by the worm. But yeah, that's somewhat strange, right? You would think that for a boss that has, this HP pool and, in general, is more on the challenging side, I would say. Well, is it? Depends, but it does make me wonder why they wouldn't introduce stronger enemies from the very beginning into this place to tell the player, oh, hey, by the way, you might be unprepared for this. Or underprepared, rather. Also, we got another legendary Ash, which in this case has 100 FP. So still, I definitely need to level up my FP. Which is also interesting, considering that this guy we got from a boss that was easier than this one, I would say. Summon Spirit of Banished Knight Oleg. So that's one of the knights, or he does look like the knights in Stormvale Castle. Just that he has two swords in this case. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon the spirit of Oleg, the banished knight. One of the two knights, known as the Wings of the Storm. After his banishment, he attracted the notice of the grace-given Lord, and later, having slain 100 traitors as the Lord's hand, Oleg earned the hero's honor of Earth Tree Burial. Aha! See, I was confused about what that meant the last time, I think. Earning her the hero's honor of Erdtree burial. Yeah, I completely misunderstood what that meant. Because last time I thought that Erdtree burial was some kind of title that was given to them, but obviously that doesn't make any sense. They're literally talking about what we see here, right? With the corpses being like offered to the Erdtree's roots. So that's what's called an Erdtree burial. That is interesting. Erdtree burial. So corpse is offered to the Erdtree's roots. And is an honor. Which is very interesting. So only special quote-unquote people, right? You have to earn the Erdtree burial. Maybe that explains these catacombs a bit more. So there's still places of the dead, essentially a graveyard, but normal people would have probably just been put in the catacombs. But if you earned the honor of the Erdtree burial, then you are moved to the special chamber, right? And then offered to the roots of the Erdtree. That is really interesting. That means that it is a tradition. For high-standing people, I guess. Though, considering how many corpses we see in these routes here, I would say that, yes, you have to earn the right to do that, but there's probably a lot of nobility and stuff that always earns the right for the Erdtree burial. Which now I wonder, maybe they... maybe they got sort of carried away with this whole thing, and they offered too many people to the Erdtree, ultimately poisoning it or something. And then Oleg the Banished Knight. The Banished Knight. So he was known as one of the two wings of the storm. Meaning that he probably served Godric's cause, or he was part of like the elite at Stormvale Castle, right? Does this mean then that he was banished from Stormvale? He attracted the notice of the grace-given Lord. No idea who that is. Having slain 100 traitors as the Lord's hand. So maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think that we've heard of the grace-given Lord at this point. Or maybe I'm misinterpreting this entire paragraph. I mean, it's written kind of awkwardly. They could theoretically mean that he was banished at some point in the past and attracted the notice of the grace-given Lord, meaning the notice of Godric, and was therefore then becoming one of the Wings of the Storm. I think that's what they mean here, but it's just written in such an awkward way, right? It's written as if he was one of the Wings of the Storm and then got banished, but I think they mean it the other way around. He was a banished knight at some point, but he was so good that he was still taken in to Stormvale, and I mean, it would make sense then that he was wearing this armor, right? He probably wouldn't have kept wearing that armor if he was banished from Stormvale. So probably worked for Stormvale. Worked for Stormvale / Godric. Yeah, I think that's what they mean by that. That way, it also makes a whole lot of sense that his spirit would be buried in these catacombs, because they're close to Stormvale, right? And with the whole big statue on the top of it, I think this hero's grave that we're in is probably the main burial site of Stormvale and its surroundings, right? It's the burial site where they're best, and the nobility of Stormvale and all of those people are probably buried. I mean, it would make sense, right? Because then also, considering how big the statue on top is, right, you can think about, well, the inhabitants of Stormvale Castle and the surrounding area, they would be able to look at that statue, ultimately look at the grave from all kinds of directions, and so that they could always, think about their dead and their lost family members or whatever, and pray to them, right? I mean, just from a sort of practical standpoint, I think that makes sense, right? Give them an even higher honor because they're buried at a place that can be seen from so far away, and from the castle. That's probably why they built it like that. Banished Knight Oleg. Well, yeah, I think so. We found out a couple more things then. So that means if what they did here was a sacred burial known as an Earth Tree burial, sorry. What happened here then? Why was this tree spirit ultimately poisoned? Or why did it turn out to be the way that it turned out to be? Maybe they buried somebody or a couple of people who didn't actually deserve this type of burial, and so the tree maybe rejected the evil parts of their spirits, and they then formed this malformed beast. Let's return to the entrance so that I can rest at the site of grace, because I can level up obviously with this many rooms. French folk hero's grave. Finally, though, well, it's also kind of awkward, right? We kind of bug our way through the boss fight, and then we actually get rewarded with a proper amount of runes this time, which I feel like other bosses should have had as well. Ah, well. Okay, I wanted to get to 23 intelligence, so I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to level up mind so that I can actually use these legendary ashes. Yeah. Still quite a lot of runes that I have. I won't be able to really level up with them, though. Well, now this is still strange, though, because I still can't deactivate the carriage, and there's certainly still more items to be found in this whole thing. And in general, just other stuff as well. You know what? This might actually be a good point to try out what I talked about yesterday. Let's actually equip this thing with the rune acquisition. Now I just need to find... Wait, which one was it? God, these screams again. So dumb that you can hear him down here. Okay, so I need to get to... Which one was it? I think it was these ones, right? Where they had the elevator with the respawning zombie type things at the bottom. Wait. Was it this one? I don't think it was. This is a cave, though. So then, impalers. I think that's what it is, right? Because it's trying to impale you. Maybe that's why it's called that. Because they're trying to impale you. Yeah, I think these are the right ones. I didn't actually try that before, to just, we'll do that. I am somewhat, annoyed by the fact that I actually used up all my firebone bolts, because ultimately they weren't really necessary. Oh well. I can't craft new ones though, right? Yeah. Need more beast bones. Okay, I just need to... I wonder if this works. Obviously, I don't want to, lose my runes or anything. I still wonder why they attack you so early on, right? Instead of waiting. Why am I bothering with this? Oh, wait, what? Oh, for fuck's sake. I pressed... Why is it doing this awkward thing with the... Oh, for fuck's sake. Ooh, a forked hatchet. So, wait, what? Why is he suddenly throwing fire? I didn't know they could do that. But yeah, sometimes, I don't know what it was in this case, but sometimes, switching towards... See? So, I pressed it twice and I switched twice. Pressed it twice really fast, which means I switched to my staff, right? But during the fight, it just wasn't happening for some weird reason. I don't know if it was because I accidentally, held down R1 or something, or L1. I think it was because I pressed, let's see. No, it works. Yeah, so this way it works. If I press... No, okay, now it didn't. Right. So that's what happened during the fight. That is really... The timing on that is really, really awkward. Because you can get into a position where you want to switch back to your shield, so you're pressing, left on the D-pad fairly quickly, right? And then you're pressing L1 because you immediately want to shield. but it still hasn't swapped back to your shield, so suddenly you're going to use your staff or something. And the timing on that is just kind of awkward, or somewhat unpredictable, I'd say. I wish it was different. Yeah, I don't... This whole swapping, like, this as well, this is just bad design, right? This is bad control design. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. You should be able to press some sort of button. So, for example, with triangle and R1, you can very quickly swap to your stance, right? So there should be something else that you can press. Whoa. I don't necessarily know what button that would be. Probably square, right? Because square uses items. I think using items should be square plus a D-pad button. Although then you only would be able to use 4 items. But they have to do something there. They have to do something with their controls, because the controls are just bad in a lot of ways. Having to swap through 3... like if you equip three things at the same time, having to do this awkward swap every time, it's just not really well designed, in my opinion. I would have to think about that whole thing for a while, though, to come up with a better solution. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, that's why I thought this was going to be annoying, because... I need too many hits to kill them. Let's see though, if I use this, how long does it last? Oh, for fuck's sake! What's the timing on that? That doesn't make sense. How many do they drop? Oh, well, it's not bad. It's just... It's interesting to me that they can... that they respawn, but you can farm them for runes. It is a rather interesting decision. What? He still completed his animation. I wouldn't necessarily call this fun, though. I mean, also, you know, it does take some time to actually get a decent amount of runes, I feel like. This rune thing does last longer than I thought it would, though. Oh, he's already dead. Because it's still active, right? Well... The problem is that it's really not enough runes, though. Even with the buff, it's what, 46 per kill? What a weird place, though. Oh, he's already dead. Oops. Is there only 3? Where does the 4th one come out? Weren't there 4 originally? I find it interesting that the rune thing is still active. Still active. Let's see how long it lasts. I mean, obviously this isn't really fun, right? I just wanted to try it. I wanted to see what it does and if it's worth it. Because the one thing that I was slightly, well, I wouldn't say confused about, and that what, but that what where I was really unsure was how, like, is there a place where you can properly farm runes? I expect there will be at some point. It's just not this one. Oh, the effect ended. Okay. Also, well, the amount is... Now I'm getting 36 instead of... $36 instead of 46, right? So the buff is what? 36, 46, that's 10 out of 36. It's like 30% or something? Probably. It's not bad. It's just not really good either. How the fuck to get out of here, though? Wasn't there... Oh yeah, there is a... It is very interesting to me that they respawn unlimited, but they still drop runes, though. Because that was different in, for example, Dark Souls 1, right? The skeletons that don't actually die... Fuck. Completely forgot about you. The skeletons that don't actually die in the... Aren't they also called catacombs in Dark Souls 1? I think they are, right? They don't drop souls. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter here, right? It being an open world game, you being able to constantly respawn enemies and stuff. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's not really a place to actually farm runes, though. It's not enough. I mean, think about it. So, even with the buff, I get 46 per kill, right? Meaning that... And there were, like, what, 3 there that constantly respawned? So... that means for about let's say half a level. That means for 4,600 runes, I'd have to kill them 100 times, right? There's 3 guys there, so every one of those guys I have to kill for about like 35 times or something. And that would be not even half a level, right? So I'd need to kill them about, I don't know, every one of them 80 times, so like 240 kills or something, or definitely north of 200 in order to get 1 level. And the buff also doesn't last that long. It lasted way longer than I thought it would, which is cool, but just not long enough. And, well, I do wonder if there is a better place to farm runes. I mean, obviously there's a ton of places where demi-humans are roaming the world. There are these spirits here. I'd imagine they all drop more runes than these respawning guys. But it's not really a place to quote-unquote farm runes specifically. I would still say that that's not really... it's just not really that efficient, right? I don't know. It's just hard to say. Maybe I should just, if I see an area with, you know, a fair amount of enemies in them. So let's say, for example, in Castle Morn, right, the upper courtyard here, with like 10, 15 enemies in it. Maybe if I see an area like that, I should just activate the item that gives me additional runes, right? Just to use them. Because I do have a feeling that just roaming the overworld and, you know, finding new stuff is just vastly superior than actually trying to farm runes in a particular place like this. At least as of now. Because you'll naturally just gather a bunch of runes. Especially, you know, considering you constantly find those skulls that give you 100 runes each. You'll ride by, you know, tons of items that you can collect. Every one of those items giving you 10 runes as well if you sell it. So, yeah, I don't think that it really makes sense to farm runes like I just try to. Which is fine. I do like that that's the case. It just makes it somewhat difficult to decide when to use these special rune boosting items. Fuck. I need to... How many do I need? 10,893.
What is it?
I wonder if I can get that many. Oh, well, I can. When did I find this? What? 10,893. Because I still have... let's see. This is 1,000? Wow! Do I want to sell this? I don't think I'm ever going to use it. Because, like, if I know... well, then again... Considering we have those teleporter traps and stuff, maybe having one of them in your inventory isn't the worst idea. Okay, let's sell these things. I'm really confused that they're worth 200, by the way. And these... Because this is from way tougher enemies, right? And it's only worth 100? I mean, I could sell these as well. Not really sure. Oh, right, I could also... Do I want to sell the turtle shell? I mean, it just looks too funny, right? But I have the skill now as ashes, so I technically don't need to keep this, right? Although last time I was thinking about selling these two, because they're just not that good. They just look cool. Could sell the normal torch, but then again, this is much heavier, right? Parry, shield bash. Shields look so cool though. Lion's Claw is not a unique skill. I mean, it would be weird for the Claymore to have a unique skill. It's just really unfortunate in this case because I think that the Lordsworn's Greatsword looks cooler than the Claymore, but the Claymore is the better sword. So, well, this has higher crit damage, but I mean, when am I ever going to use these anyways? Right? I don't know. Oh yeah, I also didn't actually read this. Peculiar hatchet wielded by imps. The gently undulating forked blade is known as an imp's tongue and causes blood loss. Imp's tongue. I wonder why they're using this. Because this looks more like a tool rather than a weapon, right? I mean, well, maybe not really. I wonder why they have this, though, right? I mean, is it really just to fend off enemies, or did it have some alternative purpose once as an actual tool? I mean, considering we don't really know why the imps exist within the catacombs anyways, it's probably hard to tell. I wonder if they had to serve some purpose, right? What a weird weapon to give to them. I can sell it though, I don't need it. Also, I probably want to sell this, right? Curved sword. Never really that interested in these kinds of weapons, to be honest. Right, I completely forgot that I eventually wanted to use this, maybe. Yeah. There's still a ton of other stuff that I need to level, though, until I start leveling Faith again. And at this point, I'm not really that sure if I actually want to level Faith more. Hmm. Okay, so now I still need to get 1,400. Ew, that's a bit more than I thought. Because I don't really want to sell the crafting items that I have here, to be completely honest. I mean, I could sell maybe... I don't know how useful these really are. Temporarily boost stamina recovery. I mean, obviously the effect isn't bad. It's just... Am I ever really gonna use them? Considering that I'm going more for a mage build anyway. And it's going to be craftable eventually. The immunity boosting is definitely good. This one I didn't use against the dragon either. Also I have... Well no, I haven't bought it at this point, but there is an incantation that I could use for this as well. It's also interesting... I wonder... Wait, what do I need in order to craft poison grease?
Goodbye.
If I go into crafting, it requires root resin and poison blooms. In one of them. So aren't root resin and poison bloom, they both are worth 10 runes each, right? So when I craft this, it's worth more. It's worth 100. Which is rather interesting. Maybe I actually made a mistake. How much do I get for fur calling finger remedies?
What is it?
That's interesting, right? What a weird thing. No, these are only worth 10. So these are worth less than the than if you just sell the crafting materials. So you kind of need to be aware of that, I guess, right? This one's definitely worth more, so you never want to sell these crafting ingredients just on their own. But the earthly flowers are worth more than the actual thing that you craft out of them. And I think the same is true for the raisins. The basic raisins are also only worth 10, even though it requires 2 raisins to craft. And those are worth 10 each. What a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to use these, to be honest. And considering how many runes I still need, let's just get rid of them for now. I'll be able to get them sooner or later. So 5 of these as well. Oh, I still need 500 though. I could just sell a couple of these and then craft a few more. I could sell these as well, although they sometimes come in handy. I could just sell... I mean, considering how many of those you get, I could just sell the rest of them. In the time I thought about selling stuff, I probably also could have just farmed the rest of the runes, to be honest. Yeah, let's just do this. I'll get them back eventually anyways. What was it? 893, right? Well, what do we do now? Let's sell one of this. And maybe a couple mushrooms. Even though I do need them, but they're pretty common as well. Or the cave moss. That's common as well. Let's do 5 of these. Oh, wait, that was already too much. Never mind. Whatever. Yeah, this was way more thinking than what was required of me. I mean, yeah, in the time that I thought about what I could sell, I could have literally just farmed the rest of the runes, but oh. Bam! 20 intelligence. And now I guess I have to go back into these into the stranded graveyard and find a way to actually deactivate the carriage and deal with whatever rest there is. What a weird place though, right? The fact that like there is a boss all the way at the bottom, but you can just directly go to the boss with pretty much ignoring the rest, but then you can also for some reason explore the rest of it, but not really. Definitely an interesting place. I'm just slightly concerned that I'm still not really that good with defeating that grafted spider thing. And the carriage is really annoying. I had really hoped that dealing with the boss in this area before I knew what the boss was. I mean, when I saw what it was, I had my doubts about being able to actually do something against this carriage. But, the thing is, I'm really wondering if I'm missing something. So if essentially the rest of this whole area is literally just getting to the boss fight. Also, one thing that I potentially should test out is whether or not changing the scaling on my weapon gives me better damage now. Considering that I increased my intelligence and I could get magic onto my weapon, right? He's gonna fall down again. Bye-bye. It's just very interesting to me that there is an enemy up there, and there is some sort of tunnel up there as well, but seemingly no way to access it, because I have, like, if I drop down over there, right, that's already pretty far down. So I wonder if from that place it would actually loop back here. That just sounds rather what's the word? Unlikely? Problem is that the carriage is always like running after you, right? Yeah. Now it's changing directions and it's coming down here. Ooh. Oh, never mind. So yeah, you can drop down here. It's just kind of confusing to me. I mean, there has to be a way to go up there as well. Ah, shit. I forgot that now it's turning here. I was wondering if maybe you can shoot those things down, for example. Didn't even hit it. Although that would be... Right? Because it looks like there's something on the ceiling, and I thought that maybe you can drop that down onto the carriage to destroy it or something, but... I don't know if that might be a bit far-fetched. Why? thankfully only one of them attacked me. Can you stop throwing stuff at me? Just... Okay. That's where I dropped down to last time, I think. Didn't I? Or did I go this way? No, I think I actually went this way, right? Yeah. Right, I did. That's the thing that... So maybe I have to go even further down in order to deactivate the carriage? That's mainly what I want to do. I mean, obviously I also want to get the item that's in the large room where the grafted spider thing is. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Oops. Did not expect you to get here quite so quickly. Okay, so I think now I made a mistake. So this... I was wondering why there was this platform here. So this is just the way how you're actually supposed to get to the boss room. That's interesting. Yeah. Ooh. I just ran the normal way. Wait, it goes further up though. I didn't see that. Shit, how many ways are here to go somewhere? So that's all the way down where the boss room is, right? Then there is an item here as well. I should be able to grab that. Let's heal up though. So yeah, I kind of tricked the carriage last time, I think. And I did it slightly differently than intended. Ooh, nice. I'm just worried that the carriage just runs after me. And it'll kill me anyways. Okay, and there are places to hide here though. Because that's where it was before, right? Wait, where is it going? The fuck? Is this like a different corner? Am I missing something? That was the corner that it originally went to, wasn't it? Oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me? Oh, fucking hell, attack them! Are you kidding me? Why can't you get stun locked by their freaking kick? The fuck is this? That was really dumb to begin with. For some reason I couldn't attack them after my roll, even though I should have been able to. I mean, they didn't kick me immediately, right? I'm not the biggest fan of this place, to be honest. I mean, think about it. The boss was really badly designed, and then the idea with this carriage thing is good. It just really overstays its welcome. Because, I mean, you know, its functionality and overall the way to avoid it gets just old really, really fast, right? I mean, it's literally not that interesting to do this the entire time and do it over and over and over again every time you get killed, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Still not necessarily bad, I mean, but yeah, it's just not as interesting as it could be, in my opinion. I don't know what you could change though. I mean, maybe it's just a tiny bit too large, right? I think it should be maybe a bit. Not the carriage being smaller, but the whole system here seems a bit unnecessarily big. Okay, wait, so that's the corner that turns normally, and then it apparently has another way to go as well. Or rather, yeah, there is another way to go back up that I didn't know about. I could just try and do the same trick that I did last time. Dropping down here, yeah. Okay. He didn't see me. What was... Oh, that's... I hate it that they have these catch, what are they called? These sort of catch mechanics, right? Where they... So it's cool that, you know, at first he avoids my attack by literally jumping over it, and then you get hit. That is fine. But the fact that you counterattacking that results in you getting hit again is just a bit much, in my opinion. What? Kind of funny, actually, that they can just jump. For fuck's sake, really? So now it's coming down here, yeah. I probably should have just... I don't know, run... I should have just run immediately. Wait, what? Huh? I wonder what kind of mechanism changes, like, when you logically think about it, right? Or try to... I mean, obviously, magic, blah, blah, right? This is definitely like a magical device, obviously. But even though it's magical, you still wonder how it works, right? Like, did they build some sort of magical probes into this place that can tell where somebody is in order to tell the carriage where it should go? Just kind of wondering about that. Nobody here? Okay, so there is another way there, and it looks like there's a spirit there as well. So this might be a way to get to the upper level then. Who are you, though? Should I... Yeah, you are strong. I dodged that. Holy shit. I dodged that as well. For fuck's sake, I did not expect that to come out. Please. Thank you. Oh shit. For fuck's sake, why do they always have like a million follow-up attacks? Dragon Sworn Grease? Why did that hit me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He literally works the exact same way that the actual dudes do. Ah, seriously? The bullshit timing on that, I swear. That is such utter bullshit. I swear. This is... Oh, man. Well, I got the item. God, the times that they have. Yeah, I'm definitely still underleveled for this place. That is crazy to me. He only took, what, 93 damage with a hit, and he had, like, definitely over 1,000 HP. The annoying part is just that he's so difficult to get to. I mean, I got the item that was in his room, which makes the whole thing even worse, because that means that there's no reason for me to really go back there now. Yeah, that's the attack that they're using, by the way. That's the thing that I could have bought with the Dragon Heart, right? It's the Dragon's Breath. The Dragon's Fire Breath attack. Which is interesting, especially considering that you find this down there as well. So I assume that Knight was a dragon hunter? Or at least must have killed a dragon at some point. Solidified grease made from a mixture of gravel stones. It's craftable. Codes armament granting anti-dragon effects. Uh-huh. When the dragons were born from their ancient kin, they lost their stone scales, which can now be used to cause them mortal harm. Okay. What an interesting... Dragon wound grease. Made from... So those, whatever those gravel stones are, that's also what the dragon's heart was made out of, right? Made from gravel stones. Dragons lost scales. When born... The dragons were born from their ancient kin. They lost their stone scales. Dragon lost scales. When they were born. From their ancient kin. I wish it would tell us why, or at least hint at a cause for that. Which can now be used to cause them mortal harm. How interesting that you can find this here, right? Considering that Agil's in the lake. I mean, I killed Agil at this point. Because the weird part here is that it feels like it's easier to just kill Argil, quote-unquote, normally, rather than coming down here to get this grease. I mean, obviously there's going to be more dragons, right? But, yeah. I really don't know, considering how much, like, trouble I had with this knight. I don't necessarily think that I have a much easier time with that grafted spider thing. I'm still hella confused as how you're supposed to get to that, like, upper stage thing, though. I mean, now we essentially went back up, but it looked like a dead end, right? I don't think there was anything else in that room. It was just the knight and the dragon wound grease. And I don't really think there was anything else on the way either. But if you run further down, it's literally just leading you to the boss room. So if there's a way to get back up, the problem's really just the giant carriage, right? That makes it really annoying when you want to run back to places to, for example, fight the knight again, right? So I am wondering whether or not I'm missing some sort of way to deactivate the carriage. Monstrosity ahead. Secret. I mean, maybe there literally isn't a way to do that, but there still has to be a way to get up to the other places. I still hate that it clips through the wall. Can I make it to the next stage? I think I can. Because it definitely is also a good item up there, right? I mean, I literally might have missed... Oh, oops. Seriously? Fuck, I didn't realize that I didn't have my shield equipped. And obviously it could have still hit him, but of course the carriage came at the exact moment where it meant that I wouldn't be able to hit him. Well, technically, let me think. So, if we drop down there, right? The sort of the tunnel leads us basically back this way, just a bit further down, essentially, right? So maybe that tunnel had a way or a ladder or something to go back up, and I just missed it. The funny thing with this guy is he's just so chill, right? He very, very slowly just walks back up to you. Doesn't really care that the carriage is coming at some point. He just, he's just gonna slowly walk back up. Okay. But yeah, so this place, right? It's leading back this way, essentially. And so I think maybe last time I just missed. I just missed the way back up. Let's try and figure this out. So, I mean, there is the trap here, obviously. Where's the... I wonder if I... Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. I can just do this, right? I can just deactivate it from here. Yeah. Well, that's so cool. Wait, I wanted to do this. Okay. At least this way, this whole area is much easier to deal with. I thought there was one that dropped down to you. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Because I'm pretty sure that this was a dead end last time, right? Wait, what? Sounded like... Sounded like something was moving. The thing is, there's no place to go up here, because I thought that maybe what I missed was I had to jump onto this thing and activate it again. That doesn't seem to be it either. Are you kidding me? How far, like... Sometimes some enemies, it's just ridiculous how long they hold that stance, right? think there was like 2 more of these guys here. Maybe. Maybe not. But this is a dead end, right? Alright, there's one. Oh. Never mind. I think it was only the one. Hidden path ahead. It's got so many appraisals, though. I mean, looking at it logically, right? There has to be a way to go back up from here, because there is no other sort of path here. At least I'm fairly positive on that, right? So we went up to the night, to the Ghost of the Night, which I think was a dead end. And theoretically from there, we also shouldn't be able to get back up. So now we're literally standing below the place where I want to try to get to, right? And then obviously going further down to the boss room, I am very, very positive that there is no sort of route to go that way either. Why does a message like that get so many appraisals? Unless I'm missing how this is supposed to be activated, but with the coffins in front of it, I also don't think that there would be a hidden path here. I mean, there was an item here originally, right? That I picked up, so... And this is probably, this just tells you that the things are gonna attack you. And reactivating this thing also doesn't really do much, I feel like. I mean, there's no place you could jump to. There was a message in the air, but that's about it. And now if I go further down, this place would lead me to that big hall, yeah, with the grafted thing at the ceiling. Try luring out, yeah. So it's sitting right there. And then there is another area you can drop down to, right? What I didn't check out last time is this way, though. Oh, wait, never mind, I did. Shit. Likely hidden path? Yeah, no. It's not. I mean, I could also try dropping down first. Maybe that way I could avoid activating it. The weird thing is just that dropping all the way down won't get me higher up, and I actually want to go up, not down. But looking at this, I don't think there is another path somewhere, right? Oh, you can actually zoom in. I didn't realize. I think I never did that with the telescope. I mean, there's no, like, ladder or something. I could just... Obviously, I could just sprint in and get the item. There is no real reason to fight that thing. Which is probably the more intelligent approach. But I don't think there is another way there either, right? That's also just a wall. This place in general is really interesting, though. So, I mean, clearly this is some sort of church, right? So they probably use this place for the burials, I guess. If a person was to be buried, they probably use this place as a church, you know, for the, like, say their last words to them and whatever. for a ceremony before the actual burial, right? And then they probably moved the bodies from here to their final resting place. Although it is rather interesting that they built this bridge over this huge sort of chasm. Do I just want to rush in and pick up the item? I think, well, it might just literally drop down onto us, but I don't really lose anything doing it. And I could just come back down here and next time just jump down instead of fighting it. I wonder when it'll come down though. Probably too early. Yeah. Earth Tree's Favor. Excuse me? What happened? What? Did I not see the second one, or did it jump up from down below? The fuck? Why is there two? Are you kidding me? Wait, I activated one of them last time, though. What the fuck is going on here? What is this cave? God, this is so weird. Okay, let me see what I got. Maybe that tells us more, I don't know. Well, I definitely can't fight two of them. I mean, yeah, of course, I can go back and come back here eventually, right? That is an option, and an option I think I'm gonna use, but what a weird place. It's just so strange because I don't think, like, how are you supposed to get to the other area? What the fuck did I even pick up? Ah, this one, it's a talisman. Earth Tree's Favor. Raises maximum HP, stamina, and equip load. What? Ooh, it looks interesting. So it has... Aha! Aha! Now we see what they're pouring out of those, what are they called? Not bowls. Flasks? No. You know what I mean. The thing that she holds in her hands. A talisman depicting a special blessing of the Earth Tree. Slightly raises maximum HP, stamina, and equip load. It is said that when the age of the Earth Tree began, such blessings were personally bestowed upon their recipients by Queen Marika herself. So the woman displayed here potentially is Queen Marika. It's also very interesting how the top part looks like that Elden Ring symbol. Which once again, is it a bunch of interconnected rings, or what's the idea here? Earth Tree's Favor. But yeah, we've seen statues like this a bunch of times, especially in Stormvale Castle. I think they were pretty prominent, and I was wondering why they were doing this, right? What kind of liquid they were pouring out, and just naturally I assumed that it might have been some sort of holy water or something. But yeah, apparently it's the Earth Tree sap that they're pouring out. And by doing that, it's a very special blessing. Because the sap's obviously very, well, seems to be very sort of powerful, magical. Yeah. Okay. Earth Tree's Favor. Pouring. I'm suddenly sometimes missing Like words. I'm forgetting. Oops. Jug. Yeah, that was the word that I, for some reason, didn't remember. Pouring sap out of a jug. Archery sap. So the age of the Erdtree began when Queen Marika took over, more or less. I think that's not necessarily the first time, but certainly we haven't really seen mentions being made of ages or something that could, where we could, extrapolate some sort of historic timeline or something from. At the beginning, the age of the Erdtree. Marika supposedly bestowed these blessings herself. Okay. Well, now I just take a look at... So this raises maximum HP. Aha, yeah, as I suspected. So it's not as much HP as the medallion. So using these medallions will give you better individual effects, but this will give you all three at once, essentially. Well, considering that I don't really need, since I have the eye equipped as well, right? Equipment load currently isn't really a problem. Stamina, I mean, you can always use it more HP and stamina, but I think at this point I'm just gonna opt for the higher HP, to be honest. I think in the long run that'll be better. Now I wonder if, well, the statue that we saw down there in that chapel-looking place, I don't think that it was. I don't think that it was actually. It didn't have a jug, right? So this Erdtree's blessing, that's definitely something for living people. Because I was thinking that maybe they'd also use that as sort of a last blessing for people who died, right? Maybe pouring sap over the corpse or something. I mean, obviously that's still something that might have happened. Maybe especially if you got one of those Erdtree burials, but overall I think that it was mainly a blessing for living people. I think you can think of it a little bit like the fuck, what's it called in English? I think it has like a special name. The Last Supper, right. Oh yeah, it's also called communion. Or Lord's Supper. Yeah, the Lord's Supper. In Christianity, right? When you go to the church, you will also partake in this, where you drink wine and eat bread, essentially. And I think we can kind of think of it like that, right? Where they... Or maybe it's more... I guess it could also be some sort of combination, because in Christianity what you also do mainly to babies, but you can also do it later in life, is baptism, right? where water is poured over your head. I think we can think of it as like a combination of those two, right? It's being baptized and having the Last Supper at the same time, sort of. Yeah, I think that's what this sap blessing might be. And I think that they probably administered it during, well, church time, right? I mean, people came to the chapel and sat down and prayed and whatever you'd expect people do at a church, and then they probably at some point they did those traditions. Okay, now I'm still hella confused though, because, well, first of all, I have absolutely zero idea where that second thing came from. Whoa. That was a bit too close. I don't think you can drop down from here, right? Ah, for fuck's sake. Can you give me a break? I don't know why they insisted on including these guys. I mean, without them, this whole place might be a bit boring. I get that they're here, but at the same time... Well, the frustrating part is that it's just very hard to realize where you're supposed to go. Right? I mean, maybe I could try this shooting him in this case? Oh, seriously? Well, I activated him. Is that one of the knights as well? I think he might be. He's just sitting down again. Really? Okay. Weird. Well, I mean, I looked at everything down there, right? I honestly don't think that that's the way to get up there, but what is the way to get up there? Oh yeah, by the way, can we shoot these things down? No. At least not this way. It's rather strange though. I mean, maybe they're just decoration, but I think it's the only place where they are hanging, right? The rest of the place doesn't really have something like that on the ceiling. Because I was thinking of shooting them down and dropping them onto the carriage, and that might destroy it and stop it and whatever. But apparently not. But I don't know. I mean, look at that place, right? Can we like get a good angle on it without me getting killed? Nah. Sadly not. Where is that? How the hell are you supposed to get there? I mean, there is no real, like, bridge. There is no way to... I don't think you'd be able to use... Nah. You can't use those things to, like, walk on them or something. That's definitely not possible. Well, the problem is you also can't shoot the carriage, right? So... At least I don't think you can. Wait, didn't I try this already? I think I did. No. Unless I didn't hit it properly, but... What a weird place. This is Dark Souls 2 levels of confusing. Because shouldn't it be, like, fairly obvious how to get there? I don't think that it's... What's the deal here? And they even specifically place an item there to make you aware of that the place exists. Try sniping spot. Yeah, I mean, you can potentially kill that knight. It's just not really going to give you any kind of advantage. Unless I did miss something in that other room with the knight. But that loops back around there, right? I mean, technically it would be below where I am right now somehow, but... God, this is annoying. I mean, maybe I'll just do something else for the time being. Seriously. Wait, did he... Oh, that's funny. 20. Whoa! The fuck? He could just teleport to me? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Well played, my dude. Well played. Okay, well, I mean, that means that I might be able, although that's probably somewhat annoying to do, you might be able to lure him into the carriage to kill him. Okay. But overall, that doesn't really help me. That might kill the knight. It doesn't get me any closer to getting to the item itself. I mean... Well, clearly I'm still somewhat underleveled for this place, so I think I should probably return at some point. It's just so weird to me that even if I would be able to defeat the knight or defeat those grafted spider things, I still don't think that I would necessarily find a way to get to the item, though. Unless I'm missing something else entirely. And the fact that it's just so weird to me since, well, I killed the boss, right? You would think that killing the boss would help you dealing with this place, but it really doesn't. The rest of the place is just confusing as it ever was. And it's just so annoying to find like different routes or to look at the rest of the place because every time you have to deal with the carriage itself. Right? There's no, like... If I was able to deactivate the carriage, then sure, but... Well... I mean, I got a couple more things. We did defeat the boss. I'm not going to mark it as complete, though, because obviously there's still an item that I'm missing. It's just... It is just confusing to me what they want you to do here. Oh, by the way, I should remove this, actually, because I got the item. Yeah, I'm just... What's the point here exactly? Yeah, the fact that you can just run in, grab the talisman, and you know, don't really care about the two grafted things. Also, the fact that there's a second one is just crazy to me. Is the second one, like, down below? Did it jump up? I kind of want to know. But then again, yeah, I'm going to do this place at some point anyway. So maybe, but, I mean, there has to be a way to get back up once you jump down, right? I mean, there clearly has to be some sort of path. Do I want to try that? Let's just try that one thing. Let's try that one thing, because that's sort of the only really remaining option, right? Let's try and go back to the grafted spider things, and instead of running over and activating the one that we saw hanging on the ceiling, I'm going to try and... I'm going to try and just drop down. I mean, ultimately, that still probably just leads to me getting killed by the second one, because I kind of think that it's probably down there. But at the same time, it might give us an opportunity to find like a ladder or something that might lead back up. I wonder if I should equip the torch for that, because I'm not fighting the things anyways, right? So... I do think, I mean, there are certainly a couple of really cool designs in here, right? I'm not going to deny that. The fact that that knight dude can literally just teleport over here if you attack him, that's pretty cool. Like, that's a very nice touch, I feel like. Because we know that these spirits can teleport, right? I just didn't expect them to teleport this much, because they usually just use their teleport to, like, slightly get out of range of you or something. And the fact that he can just literally teleport onto you, very cool. Also, yeah, it gives you the opportunity to actually lure him into the carriage, which is also very cool. Nice, nice way of dealing with him. The only issue is that I think you can't really pull the spider things back up to the carriage. At least I don't think how that would be possible. Okay, let's see. So I essentially need to drop back down, right? And then I'm just going to deal with the imps. And then I try to sneak my way past the grafted spiders. Ah, shit. Oh yeah, I should probably drop down on the left side, right? Because then you can sneakily attack him. Yeah. Also, I'm forgetting to use the guard counter again. Oh, they can drop smithing stones as well. The weirdest part here really is that the layout of the place should theoretically tell you that, you know, you should be able to use this place. If you logically think about it, right? I want to get back up there somewhere. So you would maybe expect this place to be the place where you could potentially go back up. So that just makes me really confused. Do I want to kill these guys? Also, it was still interesting to me that it talks about a potential hidden path there. Yet another, like, weird thing. Okay, seriously, though, where did the second one come from? I'm pretty sure that it comes from down below and jumped up. Because it's definitely not sitting on the ceiling. I think. Oh, it does. Hello there. It's sitting right here. Ah, interesting. You see that? Right on the top of the screen? Through the fog? Yeah, one is sitting at this end of the room and one is sitting there. I wonder what I did last time, because I shot that one. But I guess because I didn't walk below the other one, I didn't activate it. Yeah, I can kind of slightly see it better this way. So just jumping down, hopefully, shouldn't activate them. Let's activate the lantern. Unless walking, like... This is poison though, right? At least I think it would be. I just hope that I'm not going to activate them. Because I want to check out the place first. Wait, what is this? Good luck? Is there another boss here? Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, maybe there is. Wait, it's not poison? Is this just like muddy water? Because the reason why it's orange is most likely because of my lantern, right? There has to be... Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So maybe this is the way to go back up? But then... So are these things on the ceiling... Oh shit. Fuck. That really scared me. Thought it would activate something. I wonder why this place is so huge. Do they expect you to fight them down here, maybe? Well, theoretically, if this gets me to the other item, then I think... Oh, yeah, there's an elevator here. Okay. I just need to remember that there's that knight guy up there as well. Okay, this just goes up, right? Yeah. I don't think you'd be able to drop down there. Also, look at this thing. Look at... I mean, I know, you know, magic fantasy world and all that kind of crap, but... Just logically, think about how insanely large this stone... stela would have to be, and how much further into the ground it would have to sink in order to facilitate this, right? I'm just slightly, well, not confused, but the layout of this place and the way it works is just somewhat unusual, I feel like. It is reminding me of a lot of stuff. Oh, we can see the carriage. So yeah, this is where I wanted to go. So the knight's gonna be on the left side. So I think I'll just grab the item and run. Yeah, so this place, well, I wouldn't, so the weird thing in Dark Souls 2 is, right, Dark Souls 2 has, and I haven't played through it at this point, I still need to continue my playthrough, I just wanted to play Elden Ring first, Dark Souls 2 has a lot of really, really awkward sort of item placements where you can get really confused as to how you're supposed to get to them. And a couple of things are just sort of, they feel like there should be an actual path somewhere to get to them, but then you just either have to drop down or you have to do some awkward jumping or something. And remember, Dark Souls 2 still has the awkward jump that they used all the way up until Bloodborne and possibly Dark Souls 3 as well. Where you didn't have a dedicated jump button. So yeah, getting to a couple of items in Dark Souls 2 is just really, really awkward. And it results in you sometimes seeing items that you know you should be able to reach, but you just can't. You're running around the place. I literally, during my playthrough of Dark Souls 2, I was running around places for like 3 hours and couldn't figure out how to fucking get to a couple of items. Because they just seemed so weirdly placed, right? This is somewhat reminding me of that, because this whole area, essentially now, I'm 99% sure that I've seen this entire area. There is nothing more to it. So it's a pretty big place, but at the same time, the actual sort of play space, the actual gameplay space, isn't that big, or it's not as big as you'd expect it to be, considering the size of the carriage, for example, right? So there is like a large path that leads down all the way to the boss, right? And the only sort of quote-unquote real obstacle to get to that is figuring out when to dodge the carriage, right, and how it works. Then there is like one area where you can essentially turn back and go up the other way. That leads to that one small room with the night spirit in it, where there is the dragon Dragon's Wound Grease or whatever it's called. And then there is the way I went now that leads into this chapel place with the 2 grafted spiders. And if you drop down there, it then ultimately leads you to this place, which will get you the other item that you see at the beginning. And if you consider the vertical sort of height differences, especially this elevator, right? How big it is, how tall it is, and just in general, the sort of dimensions of this place, but then consider the actual play space, that's sort of a weird... It's a weird thing, right? I honestly thought there was going to be more to this place. And also, I find it weird, unless I missed it, that there is actually no mechanism to turn off the carriage. That's rather interesting. I mean, at least they do give you the Marika statue right in front of the boss room, right? So you don't have to actually run back down every time you're trying the boss. So that's fair, I think. But then they also place a couple of really strong enemies in there, mainly the 2 night spirits, although at least they get like a separate room. And then you get 2 of those grafted spiders. And they're also at like really awkward places where I'm really confused as to how you're like, what would be, are you really supposed to just run by them? Because fighting one of them, well, first of all, it would be pretty hard to fight one of them on the bridge, considering that the other one's on the ceiling still, right? So there is a high chance you would just activate the second one. Maybe what they want you to do is activate one of them and drop down and fight it down below, where we just were. Although that's also kind of awkward, that you would have to pull it down, essentially. Weirdly enough, last time, or rather the first time that I visited this place, I pulled one of them. I didn't even realize there was a second one, so I just attacked the one that I saw, and I pulled it all the way back to where I killed the imps, right? Where you have to deactivate the fire-breathing statue. That doesn't really help you either, because suddenly you have this big, weird spider thing in front of you that's essentially blocking the entire tunnel. Right? And considering they also have jumping attacks and all that kind of stuff, it just makes the fight really awkward. So now I'm kind of confused as to how you're supposed to deal with this. I mean, obviously you could come back here, way, way later when you're really overpowered and just, I don't know, kill them in a couple of hits. Yeah, sure, that might be an option. But considering that it ultimately just leads to 2, like, optional items, I guess, that's also kind of weird. I mean, thinking about it, right? They're not even sitting anywhere close to the path that you need to take to the boss room. It's just a sort of optional chamber. I'm just trying to figure out, what do they want you to do here? Because the knights are clearly designed to be fought on their own, right? Both are sitting in like a space where nothing else exists, essentially. And while they're very strong enemies, if you're good at fighting them, you can definitely defeat them there, and that's fine. But the grafted spiders are sitting in a place, well, first of all, both are in the same room, which is kind of crazy to me. And then they're sitting in a room that is just awkward to fight in, right? So, yeah, what's the deal here exactly? Also, one thing that I hadn't really thought about is, why are they here at all? Because, well, I mean, Godric's clearly experimenting with these things, right? We saw one of them in Stormwell Castle, and it's in the kitchen where they sort of repurposed the kitchen to hang up human limbs and stuff like that, right? I wonder though why 2 of them exist here. Were they sent down here to gather more limbs? I guess they thought, oh yeah, we have those catacombs where we buried all our dead, so why not let us just go in there and just use all of the dead bodies to create more of these, right? that is potentially what they did here, right? And then they just left him here, though? That's the more confusing part, I feel like. Alright, let's see. So the item is there. I essentially just want to grab the item and nope the fuck out of here. Although, I mean, I don't have that many runes anyway, so once I grab the item I can just try and fight that dude, I guess. I wonder if he'll activate right away. Yeah, he does. Okay. Oh! Wait, what? Oh, never mind. Although... Oh. Huh? The carriage is really confused now. You see that? Nope, okay, you can't. I thought maybe you were able to... Oh. It rolled down. For a second there, I was really confused why it suddenly disappeared, but it just rolled down the other way. Okay, so you get one of the stone sword keys back that you have to use for the entrance. Weird concept, but okay. I kind of feel like I haven't really completed the place, considering that I haven't really fought anything at all. I haven't really even fought the boss. I just got a lucky kill. But overall, I think we did everything, right? So I'm just gonna mark it as complete, so it's not gonna bother me anymore. Probably can do that here as well. And yeah, maybe at some point I'll just come back, like towards the end of the game, and see if I actually got stronger. Might be something that I want to try. I'm still going back and forth here. On the one hand, the design of the place is really cool. It's definitely a lot different than the other catacombs. Well, obviously, right? Because there's this giant path with the big carriage in it. But, yeah, at the same time... It just results in the whole place feeling kind of awkward, doesn't it? It has an awkward boss. The knights are sort of OP, and then the strongest enemy actually has two of them in the same room, and it's at the same time a room that is really hard to fight in. Give me a second. Okay, sorry. Just got a call. Yeah, so I guess I'll go back here now. I'll grab this item, which is next to that, next to the giant dude. And something else that I wanted to check out is the gate front. I think I might have missed a way to actually jump onto it with the horse. So I'm gonna do that first, and then I'll try this Everjail, which hopefully now I'm more prepared to handle. And hopefully the boss in that Everjail isn't as annoying in his attacks as the other ones. I am still somewhat dissatisfied with myself that I still struggle to really deal with these knights. Because that makes me think that I'm still very unprepared for Stormvale Castle. It's just kind of hard because there isn't really anything sort of in between, right? You have the normal enemies, and then you have the knights. And I mean, sure, you have like giants and all that kind of stuff, but giants are, mainly because of their size, they're just very different to fight, right? Whereas, like, sort of humanoid enemies, except for proper bosses, most of them are just very, very easy to deal with. And even let's say the beasts, the bigger beasts that we fought in Castle Morn, that have the big axes, right? while they sometimes caught me off guard, I still felt like they were overall fairly easy to deal with as well. Sure, they have much higher HP than the normal ones, and yeah, if they hit you, they can deal a lot of damage, but they don't feel that difficult. But the knights, and I mean, they're not even. The thing is that they're not like they're not impossible to deal with. You can definitely try and figure out their attacks. It's just that they feel very much like an enemy that you're meant to fight as like a special encounter. Which is also how they're introduced the first time you see one in Stormvale, when you sneak in that one room and the door closes behind you, right? And the knight's actually, I think the knight is who's laughing and you're fighting him. You know, that was a very cool introduction, and I felt like in that particular scenario, it was actually pretty cool that it was such a special enemy. But then later on, they just placed them all over the place, and yeah, you're kind of confused how you're supposed to deal with a strong enemy like that while when they're placed as if they are somewhat normal enemies, right? I just feel like in the past in FromSoft games they always had more of a like gradual sort of upgrade. Huh. Who left the flowers? Was that Rodrika? Probably, huh? Maybe to mourn her dead companions, the chrysalids? But yeah, I mean, I feel like in the past, in the other FromSoft games, there was somewhat of a more gradual way of how enemies like that were introduced, I felt like. And I'm not really sure either, though. I'm kind of... well, maybe... that is yet another thing, right? The FromSoft games and the way they've usually been designed, since they are so sort of... I mean, before this game, right? Before this game being open world, the other FromSoft games have a much clearer designed path and a much clearer way of how, you know, how levels are supposed to work and what kind of enemies you're supposed to deal with at certain stages, right? I mean, it's fairly clear. Like, the progression through the other FromSoft games is fairly clear to see, oh for fuck's sake. Why does this have to be so awkward? Why can it not just be... Seriously. But yeah, maybe this game being open world just makes it a bit more sort of awkward to come up with. So, because in other games, that's not usually what I'm doing. Although, is it though? Well, that's not really true either, right? I mean, I always think about, well, what did the developers intend to intend the player to do here? Oh, for fuck's... What is this? Why would you design this so weirdly? And the fact that the frame rate is doing weird things in this particular instance as well isn't really helping. God, the horse movements is so awkward. Did anybody ever test this? Like, seriously. What is happening? It is doing completely different things, even though I'm pressing the exact same buttons every time. Oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me? The problem is, much like with the awkward sprint on the horse, it's somewhat like it doesn't stop when you release the analog stick, right? It just continues moving, and it moves in a very awkward way, which makes it sort of impossible to just stay still on this very awkwardly and weirdly placed small thing. Oh, for fuck's sake. I think you're not even meant to go up there. God, this is weird! The whole, like, what is happening here? The whole way the horse moves feels like the game is sort of reacting to me like 2 seconds too late. This feels like playing Final Fantasy XIV with 2000 millisecond ping or something. Holy shit, that's awkward. Yeah, I don't think you're actually meant to go up there, which is really, really strange considering that there was another place that is exactly like this, where you can actually find items up top. But, yeah, there's nothing here. It even looks a bit weird. With the texture and everything. Nope. Can't. Definitely not can get up there. Oh, something died. Well, okay, so let's grab the item. Where was it? Somewhere over there. I saw something. It's probably not even a good item. Oh yeah, I also forget the entire time that the jump has iframes as well. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong? Maybe they expect you to jump a lot more? Oh, for fuck's sake. I hate these weird, awkward fast attacks. Huh. Shit, now I'm thinking about that. Maybe you're supposed to use the jump a lot more than I'm doing? Maybe the Everjail would be a good way to test that, huh? You know what would be really awesome? If sneakily attacking one of the legs of the giant would make him fall down. Yeah, that's the item that I wanted to get to. Oh, that was weird. Just a golden rune. Oh well. At least we managed to get it. He seems pretty chill. Let's just warp back and then go over to the Everjail. But yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that's actually what I'm doing wrong, right? And maybe, so that's, I said that before, right? One of the biggest mistakes that you can do in Sekiro is to rely on your knowledge about FromSoft games. Because it'll catch you off guard, right? Sekiro very much demands other movements of you compared to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And other button inputs as well. But the game obviously, well, first of all, it doesn't tell you that, and second of all, you know, the way a lot of things are designed in Sekiro makes you think, oh yeah, sure, I can, you know, sort of try and use the same tactics that I've always used in FromSoft games, but that's actually not how you're supposed to approach it. Or, well, supposed to, I don't know. Sometimes I'm really confused how FromSoft expects you to approach things, but it is definitely, there are other ways to solve it, right? And once you figure that out, once you figure out that Sekiro like fundamentally works different in terms of button inputs and presses and whatever, then it's still not easy, but it gets significantly easier, right? So maybe that is something that I'm missing here. Because I honestly completely forgot that you can fairly effectively utilize the jump in fights as well, and that it has iframes. At least I think it does. I'm pretty sure that it does. So maybe that might be a way. I mean, you'd still have to figure out, I guess, attack patterns and whatnot, obviously. Well, the problem is that I'm gonna eat lunch here in a bit, so I don't really have that much more time to deal with this. So let's just get in a couple of tries, and I'll continue with it this afternoon. I don't even remember what this boss was. Let's see. Yeah, well, could probably keep the same equipment for now. I'm just gonna try and test a couple things here as well. It's just that jumping kind of feels awkward, doesn't it? Okay, well that didn't work. Right, he had that cool shield. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in this case, jumping isn't as good as I thought it could be. Because most of his attacks obviously hit from... So it's definitely... I think it has iframes, but it definitely depends on the attacks that the enemy is doing. So in this case, the knight's obviously... You know, he has like a big claymore, so he's hitting from the top, sort of. And you jumping those attacks is not really doing much, obviously, right? Because you're literally jumping into his blade. Well, if that's a thing, though, then the I mean, most of the enemies sort of hit you more from the top, right? I'm trying to think back to both of the other Everjails. Yes, they sometimes do have sort of these swiping attacks or whatever. But most enemies do have attacks that hit from the top. A lot of them, in fact. Especially when I think back to bosses that I fought. Or the knights as well. I mean, since most enemies employ, swords and all that kind of stuff, like quote-unquote normal weapons, even clubs or axes or, all kinds of weapons, really, they all sort of hit, like, they have swipes, but they mostly hit sort of from the top. So there's probably a couple of hits that might be easier to jump over. But yeah, in this case. Also, let's see how much damage he actually takes from my magic here. Ah, well, he blocked that. Ooh, I literally jumped into that. See, in that case, I hate it. I hate that they have these weird attacks where they're running towards you and you can't heal properly. Of course. That attack is so bullshit. His like when he drags the sword like that. I still think that okay. And his stomp is I don't know. What a weird attack. I mean, if you roll towards him, I don't think that it's too difficult to dodge, but it comes out very, very quickly. Yeah, the timings on him again are just... All of these enemies just have such awkward timings. And it feels especially bad because their normal attacks are incredibly easy to dodge, right? So you feel kind of cheated. Because the normal attacks are so easy to dodge that you then think, oh, well, this is easy. And then suddenly they do some awkward, like they hold their attack for an awkward amount of time or something. Like when he drags the sword on the ground like that. And it completely messes up your timings. I mean, obviously it's supposed to do that. It's just, again, the feeling that it invokes just isn't that great, right? It's, I don't know, you deal the entire time, instead of like properly fighting opponents, it feels like you just deal with your awkward timings all the time. I think in that particular instance, I just held my, how did I dodge that? Oh, for fuck's sake. I swear if that... The problem is I'm doing like 60 damage to him. What? I guess I must have rolled into his shield or something? Because when he hit me with his shield, I was 99% sure that the dodge roll timing was perfect. But maybe you just can't dodge roll it if you're already in front of the shield or something? That is just awkward. They are so inconsistent. Because, I mean, think back to the huge worm, right? In the catacombs where we just were. Even though he's flailing around a fuck ton, right? You can still evade all of his attacks. You can iframe all of his attacks, right? Even though he's technically hitting you. I mean, he even sort of drags you a little bit through the room, right? So you dodge roll, you iframe his attack, but his hitbox is still somewhat sort of awkwardly dragging you through the room. So clearly, in that instance, the game is designed in a way where the iframes on your dodge evade the damage, but the physical connection between the hitboxes is still there. So now I'm wondering, if the dodge roll has set iframes, then why did its shield attack still hit me? It should have just gone through me, even though our hitboxes did connect. So now I'm wondering, does the game, like, on purpose sort of take away, or can it dynamically take away iframes from your dodge if you dodge into the wrong thing? Well, I mean, yes, it can. For example, the carriage did kill me even though I rolled through it, right? Unless I messed up the timing there, but I think it's very much designed to hit you no matter what, right? Even though you dodge roll. So there's clearly things like that as well that sort of hit through the iframes. So now I'm wondering if bosses just have certain attacks that ignore the iframes on your dodge roll. Because that would maybe explain some of the awkwardness that I felt. So maybe sometimes you just don't get iframes, or certain attacks just ignore iframes and hit you anyways. So the sort of the way to deal with them then would be to, well, either block them, parry them, or outrange them completely, right? So in this case, his shield attack, I should have maybe, instead of jumping into him, I should have jumped to the right or left or something. Another thing that I'm confused by, though, the damage that he takes from my attacks is ridiculously low. I'm only dealing 60 damage to him per hit. What the hell is that about? That's even less than I was dealing to the big poisoned worm that we just fought. That is strange, isn't it? First of all, I think it's actually not that much more than I was originally dealing to him when I attempted this the first time, when I found it for the first time. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's even less damage than I'm dealing currently to Godric. It's just that I think Godric has a larger HP pool, potentially, but that's weird. Hmm. I mean, magic doesn't really solve that either because he's holding up his shield the whole time, right? I mean, yeah, I'm probably able to parry him, but even if I can do that consistently, my critical hits probably won't deal that much damage either, right? So I'd have to parry him like, what, 15, 20 times to get through the encounter? I'm just confused. Like, when are you supposed to... Now I'm... Shit. Now I'm talking about that again. But it's still... Is this really just a very, very strong opponent? I mean, I guess it is, right? His attacks aren't too difficult, I think. Well, there were a couple of weird things in there, like when he hit me with his shield even though I rolled. You know, with a couple of attempts I might get his timings down, but that doesn't really increase my damage, does it? I could try and poison him as well. That might be a way to deal with him. Just poison him and then run away and try ranged stuff. But the fact that he has such a big shield, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait with this encounter until I'm stronger. But I do want to try a couple of things. So... Yeah, see, that's a 200. Oh, fuck. I hate that so much. That was 3 follow-up attacks in a row. He just literally doesn't let you heal. What? I thought I hit the timing correctly. So now I'm confused again. Can you just not parry? Oh, for fuck's sake. Can you stop with that bullshit? Can you... Shouldn't I have... Also, once again, I shouldn't have been able to avoid that stomp that time. Okay, so when he holds up his sword with 2 hands, I think that's when he does the stomp. Maybe I was just looking out for the wrong tell there. It's just... So... I go in there, right? And literally on my first attempt, I managed to hit the parry. And then never again. What's up with that? I mean, yeah, I did feel like my timings were certainly not perfect, but I honestly thought that at least one other time I should have been able to parry him. But then again, it's also really, really hard to tell if you can even parry his other attacks. That seems to be somewhat... No, that was, I think, I parried too early that time. Okay, that's his shield bash. Oh god, I hate it. Now he's chilling. What? Okay, suddenly that got a larger range. Nice, nice. How are you supposed to heal in this fight? What? I guess you just do this. Okay. Yeah, that is still, like, why did that first parry hit, why did the second one work but not the first one? No, this time he didn't actually, okay. So yeah, he doesn't actually have a tail for the stomp. He's just... That is also interesting. So he can ready his like overhead two-handed attack while stomping. And he can do the stomp without readying an attack, and he can do it with. That is interesting. Because I didn't think that was actually possible. I mean, maybe they're considered two different attacks, but it's interesting. He can do the stomp no matter what, so that's hard to tell, actually. I mean, you can, I guess he's always doing it at like a specific point after his combo or something. I wonder what it is with the parry timing as well. I mean, obviously all of his attacks do have like really awkward timings. They all have different timings and all that kind of crap. But the times where I actually parried him, I felt like the window that you have to parry him was pretty, like, fairly fair and big. And then you try that on other attacks and it just doesn't work. And you kind of think, wait, what? Why did it work the first time but not this time? But yeah, the fact that I'm only dealing 205 damage to him even when I parry him... His HP are just too big right now. What was the other thing? Well, yeah, I could try poisoning him. Something like that. I don't have a weapon with bleed. Well, I do, but it's... I don't have anything upgraded. Oh, right. I wanted to check one other thing, though. Although that might be... Let's see what a guard break does. I have a feeling that it won't be really good or anything, but... Nope. Literally does absolutely nothing. Well, I mean, it hits him, but I'm getting hit instead then. Ah, shit. Yeah. Spinning slash isn't really gonna help either. Well, I mean, I could try getting like a different skill onto my weapon. I could literally try a different shield. I could try all sorts of things, but I don't really want to. I mean, I think overall I like this fight a lot better than the other two Everjails that I've seen so far. Obviously, he'll have a second phase 2 probably, but it's just with the damage that I'm doing, it's not really fun. It'll just take way too long. Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, well, I wanted to check out this entire sort of upper area later on anyways. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to check back here, see if there's anything more that we can uncover here. And then I'm going to check out the lake, check out the river. And after that, we're going to go over here, check out this area. And then I'll sort of loop back, do this upper area here. And maybe at the end of all of that, I'm going to reattempt the Everjail. Considering that I'm currently planning on mainly leveling intelligence and mind, though, I don't really know if the Everjail is actually going to be any easier when I return. Oh well, I might be able to get in more magical stuff. By the way, that is another thing that I wanted to take a look at. So I can... Let's see. I can alter my scaling, right? Ground Slam, Repeating Thrust, Stormcaller. The problem is... So the knockback that these skills do, the Stormcaller, the Storm Stomp and stuff, I think they're dependent on the enemy's poise, right? I mean, logically, that would sort of be the case. So, With an enemy like that, a knight like that, I think they probably have way too much poise to catch them off guard with this, right? But yeah, considering that I'm leveling intelligence and stuff, I wonder if um, changing my affinity is giving me more damage. Because this will change the scaling of intelligence to C, and with the upgraded stuff, it's already doing 104 base damage. So that is much better than last time when I tried it. The weird thing is just that the plus 27. So the standard scaling is C dex, and my dex is what, 16? And oh, you know why? Because it's scaling with both strength and dex. So even though it's just a D on strength, it'll still add on to the physical damage, right? So I'm getting some sort of plus from the dex scaling and another plus from the strength scaling. Whereas when I change to this, the plus 6 comes from the E scaling on strength and dex, and the plus 27 is from the C scaling on intelligence. Yeah. Which just gives me plus 33 instead of plus 36. It's just that with 104 base damage, I feel like it might deal more damage now overall. These are pretty bad though, right? The strength B scaling gives me plus... Wait, what is that? Plus 37... Oh yeah, it's literally... It's one more for the scaling, but 14 less for the affinity. So this is bad. This is good though. Changing dex scaling to B plus 53. That's... wow. So that's what... 46, that's 17 more, and I'm losing 14 from the other physical stuff. So technically this gives me more damage. Right? Might be a thing that I should look at. And with the magical scaling, well, it's hard to tell with this, right? The base attack power is 10 more on both of them compared to last time I tried it. So, well, it's hard to tell. It probably heavily depends on the enemy. I still think that if an enemy is very, like, if they have, in case of that knight, for example, right, he has probably pretty high defenses. And when fighting enemies like that, I think decreasing your base stats isn't such a good idea. Even though I'm gaining magical damage as well, I don't think it actually results in more damage. It might over time though, right? If I increase my intelligence further, it might be pretty good. And yeah, the keen affinity with the B dex scaling, that's definitely also something that I might look at. I wonder what kind of ashes exist for staffs. Oh well. Well, this will be it for now. Was a short, unplanned stream anyway, right? So, oh, for fuck's sake. I hate that read message is always displayed. But yeah, I'm gonna return in probably like 2 hours or something, maybe a bit earlier, and then we'll check out some new areas and hopefully find more cool stuff. I mean, we managed to clear the grave, although it was somewhat weird in how I accomplished that. But yeah. Okay. I hope you had fun. I had fun. It's still really, really cool just receiving new items, new stuff to play around with, right? So no matter how you clear something, at the end of the day, you feel good that you did, right? So have a great rest of your day, evening, morning. Maybe I'll see you on the next stream in a couple of hours. Otherwise, till the next time. Bye bye.